The red, white, blue flying way up high, and we stand and salute to the ones that fight. And we don't give a damn if you don't like this American pride, American pride. We're gonna fly this flag till the day I die, 'cause freedom.
Welcome to the Sunny Side of Freedom podcast. This evening we have Lucky with us. We are going to be interviewing Lucky, one of our friends off of our TikTok platform. I want to welcome to the platform. Hi, Lucky. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing real good. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. I first met you on TikTok, and I wanted to hear a little bit about how you initially found me on TikTok and what about my platform, the Sunny Side of Freedom, kept you coming back for more.
Um, okay, funny story. Originally, I just saw you around, and you were doing a song from Greece that it just totally caught me because the way you were doing it, I automatically had in my head how I was going to do it on the opposite side of the spectrum. And when I finally did the duet with you and I saw the playback, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is awesome. I know we're going to click.
Yeah.
And after that, I started really paying attention to your platform, and I was like, wow, there's more to it than just doing planks on here. So after that, I started doing planks with you while I can, and after that, it's just been a progressive, continuous follow with you
Mhm.
and your message and everything like that. And that's what drawn me to you.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
so glad you found me because you have been an amazing addition to the Sunnyside family.
thank
We
you.
often hashtag positive vibes, match my energy. And I see you doing just that, whether you're duetting me or doing it independently on your own. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Lucky?
Okay. Have to excuse the noise. My dog found his little chew toy and he's going
He's
crazy with
happy.
it. Who is Lucky? Lucky is just a guy that's 53 years old, that's blue collar, and goes to work, does 12-hour shifts, and comes home and tries to keep up with the house and everything that's going on. Somewhat of a gym rat. And I've come to find out that going to the gym has been my new release and it keeps me on even keel. And of course, come on TikTok, say hi to everybody, make weird,
Hmm.
goofy little videos here and there. Um, my page isn't really specifically honed into anything in particular, and I just kind of do what I feel like doing at the time. I used to be heavily involved with political TikTok, and I was very heavily involved with the patriots of TikTok. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still am.
Yeah.
But I've come to realize that when you get that heavily involved with something that can be controversial, it does kind of wears on you emotionally. So I had to break free from it a little bit and start doing things that were fun, stuff that I wanted to do, um, and just change it up on my page a little bit because
Hmm.
from what I've gathered, if you run the same thing all the time, people that come over expect to see the same thing. And when you throw something that's a little bit different in the mix, they kind of go, what? Where did this come from? And then
Yeah.
that comes to you and it brings other people to your page because they want to see what's going on also.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, as you also know, on Fridays, you've been joining my Veterans Night Live every Friday at 9:30 p.m.
Right.
Eastern. You yourself are a veteran.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. 4 years with the United States Marine Corps. I got in when I just turned 19. I served my four and I got out. So, oddly enough, if I would have stayed in and become a lifer, me going to work would have just been an option. But
Yeah.
I was, I originally started off as a desk jockey when I first went in. And when Desert Shield kicked up, I was already out of boot camp and I had just finished AIT at Camp Lejeune. No, excuse me, Camp Geiger was where I went to AIT. advanced infantry training. And I had just, after that, I had just graduated from MOS school, learning about computers. Back then, we didn't have the Microsoft version of what we have today. Back then, it was old school. It was DOS language. So I had to learn DOS as my primary language, which is like Greek now.
Yeah.
But when Desert Shield um, happened, I immediately got orders to be deployed to Kuwait. And when I arrived at my unit, that was from Camp Pendleton, California, my commander said, you're a desk jockey, but you're an infantryman first. And I said, yes, that's true. And then he saw what I shot on the rifle range. I was a third award expert rifleman at the time. And he said, well, out here in the field, we don't need desk jockeys. We need Marines that shoot. I said, yes, sir, that's why I'm here. And he goes, how familiar are you with a 50 cal? I said, pretty familiar. I know how to use it. I know how it works. And he goes, well, you're going to have maybe 3-4 days for intense training to be in 0331. And 0331 is our MOS designation for a fire team machine gunner. So if anybody has seen the movie Black Hawk Down,
Yes.
the guy sitting in the Humvee firing the big guns, that was what I did.
That's
So
what you did. Well, thank you for your service, and
uh,
it's been an honor to start to get to know you here on the podcast. But it's been so much fun to also get to know who you are,
thank you.
because although TikTok serves as a platform, we're making silly videos, whether we're doing our little duets, singing, right? We get bits and pieces of people. Where this gives us an opportunity to get to know somebody a little bit deeper than we do on TikTok. So thank you for that. So last night's live, we were talking about what kinds of things are our veterans doing to kind of fill their cup on a daily, right? We talk about our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health. And one of your responses last night was, you're a gym rat, as you said. You
Yeah.
love the gym. Tell me
Right.
a little bit about that.
Actually, I started going to the gym like maybe about um, probably about 6 or 7 years ago,
Hmm.
um, because I just I found out real early at the time I was going through a lot of stress and I didn't have any release. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you go to the gym, work some of that stuff out?" So I was like, "Sure, no problem." So when I first started going, it of course you have to start off baby steps. And with me being a guy going to a gym and watching all these dudes, walking around, of
Hmm.
course I felt kind of inadequate. I'm like, what exactly am I doing here? There's really no purpose in it. But my friend said, look, keep going. You won't see any difference right off the bat, but if you give it some time and be consistent, you'll definitely start to see a difference. And oddly enough, he was right. And one of the things that he told me is like, he said, when you go to the gym, anything that happened to you that day or that past week, you can let go of it in the gym. Um, it's it. He said you'd be surprised. The vast majority of people that go to the gym to go to work out are actually very damaged. And I went, what? He goes, yes, they're damaged. He says, I'm damaged. And we go to the gym to try to recover, to try to piece ourselves back together, try to get anything that's going on up here back to where it's supposed to be. And oddly enough, he was actually correct. He said the more times you go to the gym, the better you're going to feel because you're going to feel good about your mental health, your awareness. You might be able to work out some issues that you had sitting in the back of your head. And plus, by the time you leave, you're going to be feeling better. 6-7 years later, I'm still going to the gym, and I've come to find out that it's very good therapy. You don't have to talk to nobody. You don't have to pay nobody except maybe a membership, and you actually get to realize a lot more of yourself when you reflect on yourself rather than reflect on everybody else. So yeah,
Hmm.
I love going to the gym. It's probably one of the better outlets and therapy sessions that I myself have come across. So I'm going to continue to go as long as I can.
Well, good for you. Yeah, the gym, I used to be a gym rat. I used to have a personal trainer a few years back, and I was at the gym 6 days a week.
Mm.
Um, I look at those pictures now, I'm like, what happened to her? What happened to her little guns? You know?
Right,
And and as you made reference, I brought back my plank. And yes, the planks are fantastic. Definitely. Sometimes I have people say, how are you holding it? How are you doing it? Why are you on your elbows? I said, it didn't start that way. First it was
right,
20 seconds, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't hold the plank. Then it was 30 seconds. And before you know it, you get a little bit like anything else, consistency is key, right?
yes,
But for me personally, I can relate to that because I've gone to the gym and I understand the plank too. The plank for me, even when I'm doing my morning planks and then making my video for TikTok, it's really to help people recognize stop moving. I know the gym is different, but the stop moving means take time for this, right?
yes,
For you, it's you're at the gym, you got your earbuds on, even though you're physically moving, you're still stopping. You're stopping all the chaos that's going on in the world, the bills, relationship, you name it, it's all stopping. Because in that moment, it's all about you,
yes.
working through your day, your thoughts, clearing your mind. And you were mentioning mental health, for instance, and how important that is. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Um, yeah, one of the things that I realized when I was scrolling through TikTok is there men don't have as much of an outreach as say women do when they do their lives. I can scroll at any given time through a live session and I see women talking about anything out there. But as for men, we're kind of stuck with the stigma of where we have this playbook that is in us of how a man should be. And normally we're supposed to be very stoic, very confident, and be the pillar for our family. And believe it or not, that actually takes a lot of effort. Um, I can remember a time when I would be so stressed out that I would be in my car, quite literally, just you know doing everything I can to not lose it. And as odd it would sound, I would scream one good time at the top of my lungs before I would actually get out of my car, open the door to my house, and say, "Hey,
Hmm.
how's it going?" With this little smile on my face, because men don't have a release. We really don't. Um, you see, when the one thing that I missed back when I was in the military was that men had a camaraderie. Anything that we could talk about, we could talk about. We could talk about problems at home. We could talk about problems with so and so that's two bunks over. Problems about being able to, do do a command the right way or drill or anything. Or we could talk about our girlfriends, our wives back home, and we men miss the camaraderie.
Yeah.
And when I was in the military, we had a lot of camaraderie, and there was always somebody who, when they said, "Hey, man, I get it. I know where you come from," they really did mean it. They knew where we were coming from.
Yeah.
Whereas when us veterans, as when we got out of the military, we've lost that camaraderie. Um, I really can't remember maybe but like two people that I still keep in contact today that were in the military with me, because as we dissipate and go about our own lives, the brotherhood that men are so bound to is just isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So the thing about guys is that we do carry a lot of stress because there's a lot of expectations on us. And I hope that with this podcast and everything, that to let them know that, hey, you're not alone. There's somebody out there that gets it. Where we know exactly where you're coming from. Um, So if you ever needed to talk about something, we're out there. Um, one of the things um, that really gets to me is the 22 a day. Um,
Yeah.
that's that's
And
very.
it's much higher, unfortunately, and sadly, it's much
Mhm.
higher than that. And you're so right. I've actually made videos within the last year specifically on men's mental health.
Yes.
So, although, I mean, I am so happy about our Veterans Night Live, and although we do have some females, I would say about 95% of those in attendance are males. So one of the things that I've observed is how the relationships have really grown on there in such a way that I, behind the scenes, of course, I get to know some of my veterans on a one-to-one, you know, and
Mm.
I know how they started from joining my live, just watching, then one or two comments to eventually weeks and weeks later joining me in the box, but never really unmuting, never taking off the camera. And now they're just like, hey,
Yeah.
you know. So when that happens, it's a beautiful thing, number one. But number two, what's happened is it really is the Sunnyside family. It's a family of friendships. I made reference to this last night and I said, it's kind of like going to Thanksgiving dinner where you see all your family members there. That's kind of like what it's like for
Right.
a lot of those that are used to every Friday, be there, be square, she's there. Um, but even more exciting is recently, within the last few months, what's also started to happen is that some of my veterans are now actually meeting up outside of TikTok.
Right.
And that to me is like, wow, it's a beautiful thing. It makes me emotional because we went from a place where somebody really didn't have anyone or that outlet or that friendship or what you're making reference to, which is that veteran to veteran connection again. And now not only are we gathering as a family and we have it, but now they're able to do something on their own outside of TikTok.
Right.
And so, although TikTok has probably given me more gray hair than I'd like, it's done some amazing things too. Not itself, but we as creators and why we're truly on the app. So for me, that's been amazing. And I hear what you're saying because many of the men within the platform have expressed those specific issues with the men's mental health and why. No outlets, not really given an opportunity to express their emotions without criticism, either by men or women, right? And it's really important. I mean, if we really want to get at the heart of the problems that we have and why there's such an increase in our 22 a day, granted, there's many variables to that,
Mhm.
but I'm certain that plays a role. Obviously, if your mental health is unstable, you're not thinking clearly, you feel very alone. Sometimes you'll see me hashtag some of my videos, never alone.
Right. Yep.
It's specific to that in itself. Um, So I'm so happy to hear that you feel comfortable actually talking about this topic and bringing it to life and awareness to it because I'm with you, my friend, and anything I can do on my end to help reinforce the message, I'm there. I'll support you in that. So, what kinds of things are you doing on social media? Is it just TikTok right now?
Yeah. Right now, primarily I'm on TikTok, but I do have an Instagram account. I can't really even name it right off the top of my head
Okay.
right now. I just have a link on my page that puts you
Yeah.
directly to it.
Okay.
Um, but as for social media yeah, I'm primarily doing TikToks right now. But as
Yeah.
for the content of but as for the content of my TikTok, I, I I just I just like to do fun things. Um, I like to think outside the box sometimes.
Yeah.
If you visited my page, you've probably
Yeah.
seen what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Uh, I kind of go hard left, and then eventually on the next video, I'm back. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm a little bit weird like that, I guess, because it's whatever strikes me at the time. But a lot of my videos, for the most part, are, I guess you can say, me. My page is actually, I'm promoting my friends, because a lot of the stuff that I pick up and post are from my friends and their messages that they put out. And of course, I don't have a very high number of followers, and I've always, anybody that's followed me knows that I'm all about quality. I could care less really about
Yeah.
quantity. So most of the people that request to follow me, I normally vet them first, and there's a certain degree of criteria that I look for
Hmm.
before I accept them to come in, because with everybody that's out there, you just don't know. You have to be
Right.
very particular about, who you
Yep.
let in, just like in your own personal life. But
Yep.
when it comes to my page, I'm just one of those guys that likes to do weird, silly things, and
So
every
I've
every
seen
once in a
your
while I'll
weird.
throw a shock value in there, and then I'll just come
Yeah.
back. It's like, yeah, that was me.
I have seen your light spirit. Like you do try to bring you see me say smile. Smiles are contagious, right? It is
Absolutely.
so true. If I'm smiling, you're gonna smile. I mean,
Yes.
very seldom do we smile at somebody unless they're just like, "What's wrong with you, lady?" You know?
Yeah.
But it's a normal response to just smile back, even if it's a
Absolutely.
stranger. So, but I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, because what else I'm seeing, aside from you duetting your friends, I included, you're duetting me when I'm doing my planks or my music videos for fun. You're also making videos that are motivational. You're
Yes.
trying to inspire. I've seen your workout videos at the gym, and I see it as something much more than just, okay, there's a guy at the gym. I see somebody who is demonstrating what consistency looks like, who's demonstrating take time for yourself, invest in yourself, take care of your mental health. It's all there in that one video.
Right.
So, I too agree with you, quality over quantity. Granted, on the sunny side of freedom on my platform, it has grown over time, but it's also because my specific lives are structured in a way that it's the following has either grown for ladies night with the fellas Q&A, to put things into perspective, or veterans night, or our free for all, which has given people the opportunity to speak about any topic. But it is very respectful. I have like zero tolerance for disrespect on TikTok. um, but you also said something else on that quality versus quantity. One of the things I've always said, and I don't know if you've caught it, I've always said, I don't want followers. I want leaders.
Right.
You know, I want each individual person to start leading the way, be the change you want to see in others. So it could be, I want to see change in how we take care of our mental health. So I would look at you as the leader, and then you start forming your own pack of leaders. Okay, this is what this looks like, right?
Right.
Um, so that's also what I see from you, my friend. So it's been very inspiring to watch you, to be quite
Thank
honest. And I always get very super excited, like he's planking. Woo, woo.
you.
Everybody hates planking.
Yeah. But I have one lady. She actually said, "Well, I'm going to have to start baby steps." And I said, "Just start."
I
You.
saw her actually. I saw that comment.
Yep. She actually said, "Yeah, I made it three-quarters of the way." I was like, "Awesome, mate!
Yep,
You're only 15 seconds away from like a full minute, you know."
yep.
And later in DM, another lady asked me, said, "What exactly happens when you plank?" I said, "Well, it's for starters, it's not as easy as you think it is.
Right.
It's actually kind of difficult. But basically, what you're doing is that you're stiffening up your core, you're centering yourself, and you're building your strength from the inside and working your way out.
Yep.
Um, and plus, the feeling of accomplishment. Some people can't do 30 seconds. Some people can do a minute. Some people can go as long as five. But
I
each
know.
step is an accomplishment. And I
Yep.
think I think the thing that's really awesome is the feeling of accomplishment from something as simple as a plank.
Yep.
Yeah.
And initially when I started the plank for me was so I've run many lives, and I usually like to bring a topic to the table. We've talked about accountability. We've talked about investing in oneself. What does it look like to pour into oneself? Because you can't pour out of an empty cup.
Right.
And another topic that had come up was getting at the core of your truth. Your core of your truth is like a plank, right?
Yes.
That's where it comes from. Getting at the core of my truth every single morning. I get into my plank. You know, your eyes are either closed, you're listening to music. I'm planning and mapping out my day.
Yeah.
I'm working through any possible challenges that I might be having, whether it's my kids or myself or work. You never know what it is, right? And of course, we live in a crazy world, so that in itself says a lot. Everyone should be planking at this point. Um, but there's so much truth in that. You know, you start off somewhere, and I think I left her a comment action. I'm going to start small, 10
Mm.
seconds, and then a little bit more. And you know, soon enough, a few that have already started duetting me, they're already doing like the minute. I'm like, oh, look at you. Look at you. You know, it is a mind piece to it.
Mm.
Very, very, it's a lot of mind control. And I always say, you know, our minds control so much of what it is that we can and can't do,
Right.
right? It sets
Absolutely.
those barriers or we knock them down. It's one or the other. It's that determination to say, nope, I do not have a self-defeated mentality. I'm going to work through this just like you at the gym. You push through it. It's like embracing that suck. God,
Yes.
this sucks right
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah. Embrace the suck. Yep.
I say embrace the suck. Most of our military friends say, adapt and overcome, Sil, adapt and overcome. That's what you guys say to me.
Yes, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I also understand embrace the suck, because when you embrace the suck, even though it does suck, you actually at the end you'll have actually done it, and
Yes.
the next time something bad happens, it isn't going to be quite as bad.
Yeah.
So
I think what's also pretty interesting is when those that are attempting to try something new, such as a plank or a push up, and we say, I tried, I caught myself in this. So I've actually learned from my own experience of saying, I tried to do a push up. And then I kind of had to step back and say, I didn't try, I did it.
yep, yep,
I didn't
yep.
try. We're so used to the way we feed information to our brain. Like I tried and I failed. I tried and I failed. First time I did push-ups a few months back, I was trying to duet Chief, as you know, 420 Chief.
Mhm.
Um, ugh, those push-ups, I'll tell you.
Oh, he is the push-up master. As a matter of fact, I just saw him not too
Yes.
long ago. I was like, dude, I'm getting tired looking at you doing it. Come on.
Seriously, I'm like, I would break my teeth if I fell into a push-up. That's the truth.
Mm.
Pretty impressive though, but you could tell that he's been very consistent at
Mhm.
that. So he's mastered it. And the more you do of something, the easier it gets, and it just becomes that easy. But and I was going with this thought for a reason. But when I started doing those push-ups, I said, okay, I'm going to try to duet them. And I got on 2 knees, and I think I squeezed out 4. That's how sad it was for me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have lost all my upper body strength. I lost my core strength." Now this is a few months back in the early fall. And I said, "I lost all my strength from not going to the gym because body in motion stays in motion.
Yes.
Muscles will go to sleep. Muscles atrophy. If you're not using it, you lose it."
Yes.
But what else I tell people is muscle has memory.
Yes, it does.
It has memory. And yes, it's gonna suck in the beginning because you're gonna feel the hurt again. It's a good hurt. It's a good hurt. Actually, I think Chief made a reference to that last night. He said, I'd rather hurt from the exercise or the push up than hurt my body because I can't do it. I think
Right.
it was something along those lines.
Yes.
Um, but what it did for me was inspired me. So it inspired me to say, I have to do better. I have to keep trying. So before I knew it, I was doing like one knee, not 2 knees, one knee. And I'm still doing my one knee, but I can squeeze out my 24 push-ups now,
Nice. Nice.
you know, and they don't look as bad as they did a few months back.
Yeah.
So he still is very hopeful that I will of course get both knees up. But again, I have to apply the time and the effort to that. And I hope that the day will come. I will make sure to tag all of you in there because I will probably have balloons in the background when that happens.
You do
But
that. We'll be right there with you. What I'd like to see is you do a challenge and everybody does a duet, okay?
yeah,
And have all the followers do a duet of the one previously. So when you start to go back to see how many people did it, it's just a continuous line of people that did the duet before you, all the way to the very first person that created the duet. That's what I would like to see. You
Well,
know,
hard though, my friend. For instance, like settings, like your settings are on friends only.
yeah, that's right.
So it's really challenging because, for instance, you can duet me, and then I can tag all my friends, and they'll know to duet you. But if they're not friends with you, they can't. Because I've
Oh,
thought done that. You.
how do you change that? I forgot how I even made it that
Oh, I
way.
can help you with that. It's under your privacy settings. You could
Uh,
change it to everyone. Obviously, when you have your settings on everyone, it kind of leaves it open. When Sunny first started on TikTok, I think I had it pretty private. And then I realized I'm like, well, I had something specific to do on TikTok, and it wouldn't serve the purpose if I remained as only friends, because I wouldn't be able to continually grow. And when I say the word grow, like you said, it wasn't the quantity most would refer to when they're looking to be a content creator on TikTok. For me, the growing came from, for instance, how am I ever going to grow the veteran community? It's always been about the community. I'm
right.
the vessel. You know, when they say wonderful things like Sunny, 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 I'm like, I wouldn't be here if you guys weren't. I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't, honestly. So it's really not about me. I'm just a vessel. I'm just kind of help direct and connect.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. I guess I need to open up my content a little bit more, and because it's kind of hard to get people to follow you if you're always consistently having to vet people. And like some of the duets that I've done, people will come back and say, yeah, it's not available for a duet. And I'll look at it and go, wait a minute, I've got my profile public to everybody, and they're like, no, I still can't do it.
Right.
So I have to figure out a way to change that. I mean, there's one spot that I know, but it's like every time I make a video and I want to be able to let people duet it, I have to keep that in mind, go back into that setting, scroll all the way over, hit everyone, and then go back out. Because the next duet, the next video that I do, I have to do the exact same process. And I want to get out of doing that. It's like anybody can do it if they feel like it.
Exactly, because then that will, of course, allow for others like myself. If I see you
Mhm.
doing something, I can immediately duet you. Chief comes behind me, he can duet it,
Right.
and we do just that. But it's so hard. So what you'll end up seeing is sometimes I'll add me and you to my story. I'll repost it. Then I'll add me and Chief to the story versus just having a really nice chain of people.
Right.
I can always with that. But as we're going to conclude today's session, I guess what I wanted to ask you, this is the first time you've been on the podcast. Is this something you think that you would like to continue talking about, men's mental health?
Um, Right now, I'm just an open vessel. I'm basically open to anything. There's nothing really specific. Um, it If need be, I can come on as a regular if you'd like, because I'm pretty fairly open to just about anything. Kind of like, I don't know, be your sidekick on any specific day, whether or not you want to represent. I have an idea. How about get the Marines come in one day, have all the Navy guys come in another day, have all law enforcement and first responders come in one day, and have a representative of each particular one, or as a collective, have like have something like that going on. Because as proud as I am of the Marine Corps, I'm very sure that there's a lot of things that the Army is proud of, and I'm very sure, like the Air Force, the Coasties, each individual branch has their own particular niche
Yep.
that they specialize in, and I'm very sure that that they would like to be able to talk amongst their niche the same way I would like to talk amongst the niche of my Marines, and because there are some things that the soldiers talk about that we have absolutely no clue what's going on.
Yeah, I see that. You're all, as much as I'm learning from all of you, I also see that the different branches are learning from each other.
Yes.
Different
Yes.
words mean different things, different rankings, all of that. I mean, it's been such a wonderful opportunity, honestly, how
Yeah.
I see it on Veterans Night. Like, what an opportunity for civilians like myself and those in the comments that come in to show love and support our military families as well, of course. Um, we're learning with you guys, but you're all learning with each other at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yes, we are. Yep. We're one. We're even though we're different breeds, we're all the same type of dog. We're all just one. We're a big family.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, we will be talking again, and we most definitely will be duetting each other. I look forward
Yeah.
to your now. It's become a thing, so
Yes,
I'm like,
ma'am.
I wonder when he's off work.
Let's see. This weekend I'm going to be working coming up, but
Yeah.
the following weekend I should be good to go.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you. I really truly appreciate your time today, my friend, and I look forward to seeing you on the Sunny Side of Freedom podcast once again. And
Absolutely.
time, as I always say, stay sunny, stay spicy, and make it count.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you again.
Yes, ma'am. You
Good.
too.
Bye-bye.
The red, white, blue flying way up high, and we stand and salute to the ones that fight, and we don't give a damn if you don't